Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Radha Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parirajkacharya Sutta Satashanta Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Taigur Premanande. All glorious to the assembled devotees, all glorious to the assembled devotees, all glorious to the assembled devotees, all glorious to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glorious to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 28. And this is from the story of Puranjana. Just explain, we speak a bit different topic today. The chapter is entitled Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life. And I will read text 47. It's not on the board, so I'll just read it, then we go to the purport. Atmanam sochati dhinam abhandum viklavashrubhi stanav ashicha vipine sushvaram prarudha sa. Atmanam, about herself. Sochati, lamenting. Dinam, wretched. Abundum, without a friend. Viklava, broken-hearted. Ashrumbihi, by tears. Stanau, her breasts. Aschija, wetting. Vipine, in the forest. Swaram, loudly. Prarurodha began to cry. Sa, she. Translation. Being now alone and a widow in that forest, the daughter of Vidarbha began to lament, incessantly shedding tears which choked her breast and crying very loudly. Purport. Figuratively, the queen is supposed to be the disciple of the king. Thus, when the mortal body of the spiritual master expires, his disciples should cry exactly as the queen cries when the king leaves his body. However, the disciple and spiritual master are never separated, because the spiritual master always keeps company with the disciple, as long as the disciple follows strictly the instruction of the spiritual master. This is called the association of Vani, words. Physical presence is called Vapu. As long as the spiritual master is physically present, the disciple should serve the physical body of the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is no longer physically existent, the disciple should serve the instruction of the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimirandasya Kinanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalang Pangham Langide Kirim Yatkripadamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyatyadi Sadarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, the main topic on which I like to talk today is about after the disappearance of Sri Guru. What does it mean for the disciples and Vaishnavas in general if Sri Guru leaves his body? And of course today is also Ratha Yatra. I will speak briefly about Ratha Yatra. And today is also Guru Purnima. That's why it is also befitting to speak about this topic, because Guru Purnima, also known as Vyasa Purnima, appearance of Vyasadev, and it's also in all religion that follows Sanatana Dharma, that means Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, they celebrate today Guru Purnima, means they celebrate the importance of the spiritual master. And it's also Sanatana Goswami's disappearance day. So, of course, Sanatana Goswami, a great personality in our tradition, and it's also his disappearance. So, therefore, I thought makes sense to talk about the importance of Guru, talk about disappearance of Guru, and in some way that's also connected to Ratha Yatra, because the disappearance of Guru is a cause for lamentation, and it's also it's connected to the emotion of separation. And actually Ratha Yatra, maybe we can start with that. Ratha Yatra, what's the meaning of Ratha Yatra? And as I said, I will speak briefly, because we all know. And also on the 18th of July, we'll have an online program. It's called The Spirit of Ratha Yatra. It's a Zoom 6-hour festival together with ISKCON London, ISKCON Berlin and Radhadesh. Zurich is also part of it. We have a 6-hour program on the spirit of Ratha Yatra. So that will be on Saturday, the 18th of July. So at that point we speak more about Ratha Yatra. But for now, just in brief, Ratha Yatra, of course, is the chariot, the festival of the chariot, and Lord Jagannath is brought on a chariot and it's pulled through the streets. But as we know, the deeper meaning is actually that when Krishna left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura, killed Kamsa, and later established Dwarka. And of course the gopis, all the Brijbasis, especially the gopis, they were in deep separation from Krishna for a long, long time. And it happened so that there was a solar eclipse and everyone went to Kurukshetra, because Kurukshetra is a holy place. And so all the Yadus, they went to Kurukshetra because it's a solar eclipse and it's a time where you should take shelter, a holy place, chant mantras. So they all went there, and it happened so that also the Brijbasis went. So then, for the first time, the gopis, Brijbasis, they saw Krishna again. After a long time, many years. And, of course, in one sense, they were very happy to see Krishna again after such a long separation. But also their happiness was mixed with some sorrow and pain because they saw their dear Krishna as a king. Because it was king of Dwarka. So they rather wanted to see him in his Gopa Vesha, in his dress as a Gopa, with his flute, and they want to see Krishna in Vrindavan, in the forest of Vrindavan, at the Yamuna. So therefore the Brijbasis, they were lamenting and that they don't have their Vrindavan Krishna. So what they did, they started to pull on a chariot, and they wanted to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. And that's why in Jagannath Puri also, Gundicha, it represents the Vrindavan, like Vrindavan Dham, and then so they pull the chariot from the temple, which is representing Kurukshetra or Dwarka, they pull the chariot to Vrindavan. And a deeper meaning is that actually they pull Krishna back into their hearts. That's the meaning of Ratha Yatra. It's to pull Krishna back in our hearts. And that's why Srila Prabhupada also said that Ratha Yatra can be observed every day. Actually, we should every day celebrate Ratha Yatra because it means to pull Krishna back in our hearts. That we should do. And then Prabhupada says, on this panda, they criticize ISKCON because we do Ratha Yatra every day. I mean, different days, different places in the world. Sometimes they criticize because we don't do it at the official date. So Prabhupada says they don't understand. Ratha Yatra is all about pulling Krishna in the heart. That's something we can do always, every day. So that's Ratha Yatra. And of course we could say much more about it. But yeah, it's the spirit of separation. It's the spirit of bringing Krishna back to the heart. So, as we heard in this text that I read, this is from the story of Puranjana, a story that is told by Narada Muni. And it's described here that when the spiritual master leaves, then the disciple should cry exactly like the queen who cries when the king dies. And that pain, that separation to the spiritual master is actually similar to the separation to Krishna, because the spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. So that crying for the spiritual master is similar to crying for Krishna, and it's actually a transcendental feeling. It's a spiritual lamentation, which is natural and is even encouraged here. It says, the disciples should cry. And so because it's Guru Purnima, I'd like to maybe first say a few words about Guru Tattva, and then we can hear about Sanatana Goswami, and then about this principle of separation to dear Vaishnavas, Gurus. So the spiritual master, of course, as we know, it's not an ordinary personality. And actually, only those who are very, very fortunate get a chance to get in touch with such a pure devotee of the Lord. As we know in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmananda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Poi Bhakti Lada Bicha, that actually the conditioned soul is traveling throughout the universe, millions and millions of times, and it's really like wandering through the universe up and down. Sometimes we go to the heavenly planets, sometimes we go down to the lower planets, sometimes we are great kings, sometimes we are beggars, sometimes we are very pious, sometimes we are great sinners. So many lives we are, the conditioned souls wanders through many lives, but by great fortune, someone who is Bhakyavan Shiva, by great fortune one gets in touch with the pure devotee of the Lord, with the Vaishnava, with the spiritual master. And then by the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of creeper of devotional service, this Bhakti Lata. So that the Bhakti Lata, that's an analogy, a picture given us how devotion is growing more and more in our hearts, but the seed of that devotion is given by Guru. And then it's also said that Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within. So actually, the original Guru is Krishna himself. He's Adi Guru. And today, if you have Guru Purnima, if you celebrate, actually the original Guru is Krishna himself. And when he's kind to some fortunate conditioned soul, he personally gives him lessons so he can progress in devotional service, instructing the person as a super soul within and a spiritual master without. So that's how Guru Tattva works. That actually Krishna is Guru, and he, from within, as Chaitya Guru, he gives instruction from within. But then, if he's very especially merciful to some conditioned soul, then he also appears outside as the spiritual master. So the spiritual master is no one else than the representative of Krishna. Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrera Pramane Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karina Bhaktagane Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanyera Dhasa Tathapi Janiyami Tanhara Prakasha. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is none different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. So although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. So the Guru is a bhakta, is a devotee, a sadhaka, but he, at the same time, is also a representative of Krishna himself. One should know that the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the super soul and as the great devotee of the Lord. So also the Shiksha Guru has this very important role. And then it says that because we are not able to actually perceive the super soul in our heart, then by his mercy the super soul appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. So that's important to remember, that Guru is not an ordinary person. And Guru is also described as Shri Kripa, Shri Krishna Kripa Murti. Like he's like a murti, he's like a manifestation of what? He's a manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. So when actually we attain the mercy of Krishna, then that mercy will take the shape of Guru. And Guru will deliver that mercy to us. So, of course, in our line, one of the great personalities is Srila Sanatana Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, and Sanatana Goswami. And today is his disappearance day. So, yeah, we just maybe briefly speak about Sanatana Goswami, and then we speak about the importance of, or the meaning of disappearance, as we mentioned. So, as we know, Sanatana Goswami, and of course his younger brother Rupa, they were unwillingly forced into the service of the Nawab Hussain Shah, the Muslim ruler at that time in West Bengal. And although Rupa and Anupam, they freed themselves and joined Mahaprabhu, Sanatana was left behind because the Nawab heavily depended on him. But Sanatana also was tired of this, so he pretended to be sick, and he did his service. And then when the Nawab then checked on him, then they found out that actually he was discussing philosophy Bhagavatam with Pandits in the house. So they understood he was not sick, and then they became very angry. And the Nawab just told that he has plans to go to Puri to conquer the king there. And then Sanatana says, Jagannath is the Lord of the universe, of Orissa, and I'm not joining this part. So you can do, but I'm not going. And then the Nawab became very, very angry and put him into the prison. So Sanatana was in prison. And then Rupa sent secretly a message that he had left 10,000 gold coins with some businessmen for him, and that he should bribe the the jail keeper, the guard, and then bribe him so that he can escape. And that's what happened. He was successfully bribing him, and I think gave him 9,000 gold coins or something. And then it's described how they escaped. He took a servant with him, and then they went, and they were almost killed on the way, because when they stayed in a hotel, then the owner could understand that they had gold coins with them, and they wanted to kill. So Sanatana gave him. And then he, just depending on Krishna, walked towards Vrindavan, and staying at Benares, he met. And then finally he went to Vrindavan. And as we know, in Vrindavan, the Goswamis, they established different temples. So Sanatana Goswami, he established a temple of Madan Mohan. And we also know the story how that happened. Madan Mohan was a family, like a deity of a Brahmana family. And that Brahmana family, they treated Madan Mohan just like one of the children. Actually, the children even played with him. And when Sanatana Goswami came there, he saw that, and then he said, "Oh, this is not proper. You shouldn't treat a deity like that." And then in the night, that Brahmana had a dream that you have so many children, you should give one child to Sanatana, like give me. I'm your child, so give me to him. And actually, Sanatana Goswami also had a dream that Madan Mohan told him, "I want to come to you." And Sanatana first said, no, I can't take care. I'm just a simple sadhu. I can't do deity worship. And Madan Mohan said, no problem. You just, whatever you have, you give me. So he took him and put him in a bag and hanging on a tree, chanting the whole day, writing scriptures. And just once a day, he took some, baked some flour, and then put some Yamuna jal, made a little roti, put it in the fire, and then offered it to Madan Mohan. And one day what happened, Madan Mohan asked, could you not at least give a little salt? At least, I'm taking this dry chapati, at least a little salt. And then Sanatana said, listen, that's exactly what I told you. This will happen. I told you I can't give you more. But then what happened, a businessman, his boat stuck on the banks of the Yamuna, and that boat was filled with salt. And the Brijbasis told him, you have to go to get the blessings of Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana told him you should pray to Madan Mohan. And then a storm came, and the boat was relieved from the bank sand. And then sometimes it's even said that the salt miraculously was replaced with camphor and gems and jewels. In any case, that businessman was so happy that he actually built the temple for Madan Mohan, and also, of course, Madan Mohan got his salt. And then it's described when Sanatana Goswami was very old, he still did a very severe tapasya. In the age of 65, he still did every day Govardhan Parikram. If you did Govardhan Parikram, it's quite tough. And he did it every day in the age of 65. Not only that, he offered 1,008 times dandavats on the parikram to Govardhan and to whoever Vaishnava he met. And if you do a parikram, you see many Vaishnavas there. So he performed Govardhan parikram, offered obeisances thousands of times every day. So Krishna personally appeared and told me, listen, you don't have to do this. This is so heavy. And Sanatan insisted, no, I want to do my vow. And then Lord Krishna, playing his flute, stood on a stone, and then actually that stone melted. And then Krishna personally gave that stone with the footprint to Sanatan and said, listen, you just walk around this stone, and that is Govardhan parikram. And that stone can be seen at the Radha Damodar temple. Shri Sanatan Goswami Ki Jai. So today is his disappearance day. We also call it Tirobav, the disappearance of a great Vaishnava. So, and of course, as we know, yesterday, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj left this world. So, and leaves a great, sorrow behind. It's not only for his disciples, of course, especially for disciples, but for all devotees in ISKCON. It's a very great loss, because Bhakti Charu Maharaj was not an ordinary personality, and of course he was very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada, and a very intimate servant and disciple, and also a personality who dedicated his whole life to ISKCON, and by his own example really showed what it means to be a follower of Prabhupada, a disciple. And that's how it is, like the Sat Shishya, the true disciple, is the one who becomes a guru. And certainly Bhakti Charu Maharaj was a Sat Shishya, like a true disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and that's why he was also a glorious spiritual master. And I remember actually the last darshan I had with him was here in Zurich, and there were some rumors that I want to give up my service, and of course I will at some point, but actually only to take up more responsibilities, and certainly I want to continue serving Srila Prabhupada. But Maharaj seemed to be a little worried, and he told me, listen, Srila Prabhupada's mission comes first, and your personal needs come second. Very strong statement, in a sense, and it's just that's his mood, that's his spirit of dedicating one's life to the spiritual master, and that's very glorious. That's what's actually required. And so when the spiritual master leaves, this is a very, very, very difficult period in life for the disciple, and it's actually the greatest sorrow. And I like to read a bit from this. There's a little booklet after the disappearance of Sri Guru, some statements from Shastra put together by Sri Gaur Govinda Maharaj and by different acharyas, and Prabhupada's purports on the disappearance of Guru. So the first is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhyam 8:248, and there it's mentioned how Mahaprabhu speaks to Ramananda Roy, and Mahaprabhu was asking Ramananda Roy, Dukam hadye kona dukkahaya guru tare, which sorrow is the most intense? What is the greatest grief, the greatest pain one can experience in this world? And Ramananda Roy's answer was, Krishna Bhakta Viraha Vina Dukkha Naidhika Para. Being separated from a Krishna Bhakta, a dear devotee of Krishna, is the most grievous sorrow and unhappiness. There is no greater pain than to lose one's spiritual master. If someone becomes separated from a dear devotee of Krishna, he will experience acute pain. No other kind of sorrow can be compared to this. This is like Krishna Vira Dukkha, the pain of separation from Krishna. And it's described like when Krishna left this world, it's described how Uddhava was feeling very strong separation from Krishna. So similarly to this is Krishna Bhakta Viraha, separation from a dear devotee of Krishna, who is always with Krishna. If someone is separated from such a dear devotee, that is like being separated from Krishna. There is no other sorrow like that. Because why? Because the spiritual master, he is actually carrying Krishna in his heart. And that's why by associating with Guru, we can experience Krishna. That's the amazing, that's the value of sadhu sangha. Because sadhu actually is such a transparent media, and Krishna, who resides in his heart, becomes so much manifested through the association of that sadhu. So if that sadhu leaves, it's similar as if Krishna would have left, because through that sadhu we could experience Krishna's presence. And there is another episode in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu said to Haridas Thakur when he left, also he also expressed this pain, and it's a very touching, like amazing story how actually Haridas Thakur, he was very old, and he was lamenting that he was not able to still chant his rounds. And as we know, Thakur Haridas was chanting how many rounds? 192 rounds, 3 times 64 rounds. Basically, he was chanting the whole day, and he was lamenting. No, Mahaprabhu was asking, "Are you sick?" And he said, "Yes, I'm sick because I can't chant my rounds. That's my disease. I'm not able to finish my rounds." And of course, Mahaprabhu said, "Listen, you're old. You don't have to chant so many rounds, you know." But he felt very sick. No, I'm not able to chant my rounds anymore. And actually, then Haridas Thakur expressed a desire. I want to leave before you. Haridas said, I can't imagine that you die and I have to experience the pain, you know, seeing you dying. So that's why I want to die before you. And Mahaprabhu is begging him, no, please don't do that. Jaya Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Shri Shri Gauri Thai Ki Jaya. But then actually, the next day, Haridas Thakur actually left his body in a very glorious way. Mahaprabhu was there, and Haridas Thakur placed his feet on the chest of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu looked straight in the eye of Haridas, and Haridas left his body like that. So Mahaprabhu said this when Thakur Haridas disappeared. Haridas Thakur, who was known as Namacharya, was day and night, 24 hours engaged in chanting. That means he was always with Krishna. When he disappeared, Mahaprabhu cried piteously, because such a dear devotee who was always with Krishna has left. So that's the most acute pain. Kripakari Krishna more Diya Chila Sangha Svantantra Krishnira Icha Kaila Sangha Bhanga Harida Sera Icha Yabe Haila Chalite Amara Shakati Tandre Narila Rakite Icha matre kaila nicha prana nishkramana purveyena shuniyachi bishmira marana. Krishna was so merciful, this is Mahaprabhu speaking. Krishna was so merciful to me that he gave me the association of such an elevated devotee, Paramahamsa, such a dear devotee of Krishna, who was always with Krishna. Getting his association, I felt that I was with Krishna. Now, Haridas Thakur has disappeared, and the pain in my heart is most grievous. So this is Mahaprabhu, how he was lamenting. So the disappearance of such a dear devotee is very inauspicious. Therefore Mahaprabhu cried. So one must grievous distress. This is the most grievous distress one can feel. But then, often the conditioned soul is not able to cry. We cry for some material loss. But who cries when a devotee leaves, a Vaishnava? only the Vaishnava cry. So the Vaishnava do not cry for material separation, but they actually cry. So if we want to cry, we should cry for Krishna. Krishna is our nearest and dearest object. Krishna is the object of love, and of course so are the devotees of Krishna. If they leave, then that's a reason to cry. So that's another episode we can find in Shastra. And as mentioned in the purport that we read, that there is Vani and there is Vapu. Vapu, the physical form, and Vani. And of course, if we get the chance to serve Vapu, the form, this is very, very wonderful. And it's very auspicious if we can get the association of the spiritual master and serve him directly. But in the absence of Vapu, what remains is Vani. And that's the only thing which remains. And of course I can speak also from my own experience. My own spiritual master left in 2006, which is now 14 years ago. And it was a very painful experience. And I remember I went to Vrindavan to Radhakund, where his body was placed in Samadhi, and I understood that I will not be able to again see him, have his association. So I started to remember what instruction did I got, and I wrote it down. Like what personal instruction did I receive? Because the Vani is the only thing which is left at the end. We have our memories, but then we mainly have the instruction that are given by the spiritual master. And this is very important for us as disciple to follow Vani that we have received. And another point is made also that what happened when the Guru leaves, who will teach me, how can I know, how can I continue my spiritual life? So one point is also that Shastra is also there. Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Yadi Krishna Mukkahaya. If by the blessings of a pure devotee and the scripture a conditioned soul becomes devoted to Krishna, he becomes liberated. Maya gives him up. So Shastra is also one of the incarnation of the Lord. Bhagavad Grantha. There is Bhakta Grantha and Bhagavad Grantha. So we should serve both. We serve the devotee and we serve the scripture. And in the absence of the devotee, we can also take shelter of the scripture. And that many devotees also have made this experience when Prabhupada left or when other gurus left, and taking shelter in the instruction, taking shelter in Prabhupada's books is a very powerful way to overcome this grief. Because Bhagavad is all-powerful, so we can take shelter in his lotus feet, and actually Grantha, Bhagavad, is also non-different from Krishna. And also Grantha Bhagavad can give mercy. Like the book can also give mercy, can also give guidance. And then also it's said that actually Guru never really will leave us. Guru will always be with us. And it's said that Guru is even if it's required, Guru will even take birth again to deliver his disciples. But it might not be necessary. Guru can also act through other sadhus. So Guru will also come, maybe not in the same form. He may come in the form of a sadhu, a very, very dear devotee, who is also very dear to our spiritual master. So, our gurus, they have god brothers, and some god brothers are very close. So maybe Guru who leaves this world, he can act through other god brothers. He can instruct us through other sadhus. So if other gurus, if they give us shelter and they speak to us, we can try to see how my Guru speaks through them. Because he's Guru Tattva. Through him, this will be revealed. Through him you will be able to understand Tattva. So you should think, my Guru is teaching me, he's speaking me in this form. Don't think my Guru is not here, he has departed, what shall I do? Pray to your spiritual master, he must help you. we have personal experience. We have been helped in this way. So one should not feel this desperate. Guru is always there. And there is a very beautiful statement also here. Let me see. There is a question put to Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. Since Guru's discipline is required to control the mind, how can a disciple get that discipline after the Guru passes away? No, if Guru is not there anymore, how can you be disciplined? You know what Maharaj says? You are a fool. The Guru is always with the disciple. The Guru's passing away is only apparent. The Guru is always there. I'm eternally his disciple, and he is eternally my Guru. In this same chapter, Prabhupada gives a very beautiful purport, text 50 of chapter 28. A devoted disciple of the spiritual master would rather die with the spiritual master than fail to execute the spiritual master's mission. And this statement very much, fits with Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Like, okay, the spiritual master leaves, but then the disciple really takes the instruction to heart. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes down upon this earth and re-establishes the principle of religion, so his representative, the spiritual master, also comes to re-establish religious principle. It is the duty of the disciples to take charge of the mission of the spiritual master and execute it properly. Otherwise, the disciple should decide to die along with the spiritual master. In other words, to execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations. So, it's very strong words by Srila Prabhupada, that the disciple should have such devotion and such love for the spiritual master that he is willing to give his life to dedicate to the mission of the spiritual master. And His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj certainly was a personality who did that. I'd like to conclude reading from Ocean of Mercy. Damodar Prasad Prabhu requested me to read this afterword, which is gives Maharaj speaks about how he experienced Srila Prabhupada's leaving his body. Afterward. The afternoon after placing Srila Prabhupada's body into Samadhi, I went to his room, lost in the emptiness of his departure. I couldn't believe he wasn't there, although he had always taught us that we would all have to leave the material world one day, and showed us by his personal example how we should prepare. His absence was difficult to accept. I kneeled by Srila Prabhupada's bed and laid my head on his fine woolen chadar, folded on his pillow. It still bore his fragrance. Unable to control myself any longer, I broke down and cried, as if my heart wanted to escape from its cage, but could only melt in a torrent of tears. I just let my agony pour out in sobs. After a while, whether minutes or hours, I had no idea, I felt a hand on my shoulder and looked up. It was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He did not say a word, but his touch told me that he understood and shared my anguish. Several devotees had gathered in the room, and they were all looking at me. Embarrassed, I walked out with Maharaj by my side. The next day, I left for Mayapur, which I Pataka Maharaj, carrying an ornate metal container holding flowers for the Samadhi. They were buried in a Pushpa Samadhi above, with a temple would be built where devotees and others could worship Srila Prabhupada and feel his presence. Mayapur was somewhat of a relief for me. The memories were not so fresh there, and I was surrounded by friends and godbrothers. Still, my world felt weakened. The first time I dreamt of Srila Prabhupada, the dream was so real that although in the back of my mind I was aware he had departed, I perceived him so clearly that my heart danced with joy at the beginning with him again, with him again. I offered my obeisances and held his lotus feet, bathing them with my tears. He lifted me up and asked me whether I was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on my beads. Unable to speak, I remained silent. He asked me to show him my tongue. When I did, he took hold of it with his thumb and forefinger. And as the thrill of his touch ran through my entire body, he asked me, "Are you using it to chant the holy name?" Imagine your spiritual master holds your tongue and asking you, "Are you using it to chant the holy name?" I tried to say something, but he was still holding my tongue. and then my struggle to speak woke me up. With a wonderful feeling of meeting Srila Prabhupada still vivid in my mind, I sat on my bed and wondered about the meaning of the dream. What did he want to tell me? It seemed that he was reminding me that Maya would try to hold my tongue and prevent me from chanting, but I should never stop. No matter the difficulties, I should never stop chanting the holy name. I felt immensely grateful and remembered Srila Prabhupada's assurance that although he would someday disappear from our vision, he would always be present. For a while, in order to lead us onto the spiritual path, he had become visible to us, and then he had left our side to motivate us to move forward toward the spiritual world to find him. When I had decided to join ISKCON in Mayapur in July of 1976 as a full-time devotee and shaved my head, a thought had run through my mind that my hair would grow back in 2 months, and that if I did not like being a devotee, I could return to my old life. Those 2 months have turned into 40 years. But they have flown by, and by Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy, my life has found its perfection. My realization that I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and that my life's goal is to develop my loving relationship with him, is all to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who took me by the hand and led me to that relationship. I know that I have found the true path of perfection, and that achieving success is only a matter of continuously moving forward without deviation. sometime in the future, does not matter when, I will reach my ultimate destination and once again be at the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Premarupa Prabhu ki
Jai.
Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki
Jai.
So let us dedicate our Ratha Yatra festival today to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And of course, Ratha Yatra is a festival of joy, and how to say, like spiritual life is a life full of joy, and it's also joy is also an expression of gratitude. So certainly, we are allowed to celebrate Ratha Yatra with a joyful heart. At the same time, we can remember great Vaishnavas, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and reflect on the meaning, what it means to accept a spiritual master, to serve a spiritual master, and what it means to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission. And I think it's in the spirit of Bhakti Charu Maharaj that we do the Ratha Yatra festival. And